Hey, my name's Holly Mathis, and today I will be addressing bullying in schools for my final presentation for EDUC 7040. So, first of all, what is bullying? I found a good definition from this article I have referenced here, and being a visual person, I decided to take the definition and throw it into a word splash. So, bullying is considered to be multiple acts where there is the purpose is to harm. And a very common thing about bullying is that it has to do with an imbalance of power. Bullying can be considered social, physical, or cyberbullying. And some general facts about bullying: it impacts students' performance, of course. Bullies and victims are both at risk for developing problems physically, mentally, and behaviorally. Victims can suffer from suicidal thoughts, low performance academically, depression, low self esteem, etc. One thing that I've never really thought about before is the impact that bullying has on the bullies themselves. Bullies develop positive feelings about violence and aggression, and they tend to associate with peers who have those same positive feelings. 59% of onlookers tend to stay out of the situation when bullying is going on. And this is typically because they don't want to become the target or a new target themselves. I was glad to see that 31%, I expected the number to be way lower, that 31% actually defend the victim. So, why is this issue a concern? And I chose to discuss why it was a concern for me in particular. This year, I faced more issues with bullying, name calling, general unkind words, etc., than I ever have before. I blame this on multiple factors. COVID it's put students behind, and when I say put them behind, I'm referring to how it put them behind socially. They had a whole 9 weeks of social development that they did not get to experience because COVID put them at home. So I think because of this social being behind socially, that the bullying issues and not understanding how to deal with conflict or confrontation, I think that that was worse this year than it has been in the past. Another issue or factor that I think played a big part in my experience was that when the schools closed last year, they took the second graders that were in the single classroom and they moved that single group up to third grade. So the students I had this year in my third grade classroom were with the exact same kids that they were with when they were in second grade. The environment was challenging and stressful due to COVID with the mask and the procedures, and some of the kids were nervous and afraid because we were face to face from day one. And third grade is a big, stressful year academically. But I put this little sign: never give up. As a teacher, I am responsible for teaching the whole child. This means that I'm responsible for teaching my students both academic and social skills while simultaneously maintaining a sense of security and positivity in the classroom. As the year came to a close, the tensions between students became even higher. They needed a break. Although the bullying issue I encountered were managed, addressed, and controlled, I began to wonder about the legal aspects of bullying. If it did not stop, what would happen next? What court cases paved the way for administrators and educators as they addressed the age old dilemma of bullying? So, I found a few legal aspects about bullying. The law and bullying, as far as federal law goes, no federal law exists that directly addresses bullying. The only way that bullying gets addressed is if it's wrapped up or falls under the harassment category, specifically discriminatory harassment. This overlap usually happens when the bullying is based on nationality, race, color, sex, disability, or religion. When this occurs, we have entered into the realm of civil rights violation. All right. On its own, bullying somehow is not illegal. This was my response to that, as was this and this confused baby. Anyway, but at least all states have anti bullying legislation. Thank goodness for that. So, as far as state law is concerned, Most state laws do require schools to have a policy for responding to bullying. Some states require a bullying prevention program and or teacher professional development regarding bullying. The state of Georgia, thankfully, does have several anti-bullying laws. These laws include the definition of bullying and cyberbullying. The cyberbullying laws address bullying that occurs both on and off campus, as long as that bullying is directed at students or school personnel, threatens their safety, or disrupts school order, or if it causes fear or harm. So below is a list of different laws that address bullying in the state of Georgia that I found. You can see some of them address hazing, comprehensive character education program, policies prohibiting bullying, assignment to alternative school notice, student codes of conduct, safety rules on school buses, etc., etc. Okay, so I found a couple of cases, brief cases, that addressed bullying that I wanted to mention. LW versus Toms River Regional Schools Board of Education. The issue was, can a school district be held liable under the following law? And they're talking about the New Jersey law against discrimination. Who was involved? It was a 4th grade student, LW. LW was bullied or harassed because of perceived sexual orientation. The child was called a variety of slurs that I'm not even going to go into. They were just bad. This harassment continued through 7th grade. So 4th grade through the 7th grade. Eventually, the harassment did become physical. The school district addressed the issue by giving the bullies detention, suspending them, etc., but the punishments were not severe enough to make a change. 8th grade happened to be better for LW, but in high school, the bullying continued, and it became physical again. LW withdrew to attend another school, and his parents filed a case saying that the school did not take proper action. The court held that a school district was liable under the New Jersey Law Against Discrimination Act if the district knows about the harassment but fails to take proper steps. All right, the second case. Oh, real quickly, notice that this bullying case falls under harassment because they were harassed because of perceived sexual orientation. The second case it fell under the bullying category, under the harassment category, because it had to do with hazing, as you can see from the image here. So this one was Doe X Rel Denari versus Kern High School District, who was a 9th grade student who was on a debate team. This student, check this out, was physically assaulted by upperclassmen who were also on his debate team. He was wrapped in plastic wrap and duct tape. He was bullied and taunted until blood trickled from his mouth. His teammate tried to tape him to the wall on several occasions, and each time he fell from the wall and had the breath knocked out of him. Another teammate went so far as to urinate on his shirt. So the court was in favor of the victim, and the issue fell under the hazing category. The student and his family were awarded $260,000. All right, so my final thought on this is that it is time for the federal government to create a law that addresses bullying on its own. All schools, private, public, charter, etc., should be required to undergo anti-bullying programs at least twice a year. These programs should give children strategies for coping with bullies, give teachers strategies for intervening, and give bullies strategies for handling their aggressive tendencies. There should be significantly more severe punishment for bullying, even when it does not fall under the harassment category. And that's the end of my presentation, other than this little video.